The Boston Celtics beat the 76ers 109-101 behind Jason Tatum and his big game, as well as a couple of great adjustments for how the 76ers were guarding them. My name is Coach Gibson Pyper. If you enjoy this video, please feel free to follow me on Twitter, like, and subscribe. Now we can talk about the lack of Embiid post-ups, which was absolutely insane with some of just the decision-making and just not getting him the ball late in the games. We can talk about the 20% turnover rate that the 76ers had with 18 total turnovers. They turned the ball over on 20% of their possessions. But for me, the biggest thing that I want to focus on is how the 76ers defense was able to kind of stymie some of what the Celtics were trying to do offensively, and then also how the Celtics adjusted to that. But first, let's look at some Embiid post-ups, which he had 7 total post-up possessions according to Synergy. Now, these post-up possessions are possessions that only end with like a shot, a turnover, or a pass out for a shot or a turnover, miss or make. The 76ers opened up the game with a nice cross screen and seal for Embiid. They ran this set a lot of times after timeout for Embiid, as well as against the Celtics early in the season. And then they got Embiid only 6 more post touches, in which he was absolutely dominant when he touched the ball. He wreaked havoc, he caused fouls. There were so many chances that the Celtics just could not manage against him. He only had one bad possession that ended in a turnover on a late double late in the shot clock. But for the most part, he was pretty much unstoppable when he wanted to be. He was able to back down Tice with ease. He forced Tice out of the game. And I think we can all agree the obvious adjustment for the 76ers offense is to get Embiid more post touches. But I want to talk about the 76ers drop and lock coverage, which is what I'm terming this, their defense, drop and lock versus Celtics offense. The 76ers really dropped Joel Embiid against the Celtics, especially when the big caught the ball at the top of the key, which the Celtics do a lot of in their 5-out offense. You can see him sagging off here even more. The biggest thing that I noticed was I felt it was defensive 3 seconds a couple times. But after seeing a couple of tweets by Bob Voulgaris talking about the actual NBA rules, that's not the case. The NBA rules state that it's not a 3-second violation if the person you're guarding has the ball. So if the person you're guarding has the ball, you're allowed to sag off in the paint, as we can see here by the NBA video rulebook. I've linked this below so you can take a look for yourself, but it is in fact the correct rule. So sagging off and allowing those shooters to shoot is part of 76ers defensive system. They drop and they trail. We talked about a lot of that in the playoff preview. So this is not anything new to their defense. What is new is their exaggeration of the top blocking and taking away any off-ball player from the Celtics. You can see all 3 players here are denying or top blocking on the top side and then forcing or deflecting those cutters into Joel Embiid in the paint so he can zone up and basically take any easy scoring opportunities away for the Celtics. The biggest advantage that denying the Boston Celtics players off the ball is it allows Embiid to stay in the paint and allows their defense to always kind of be set and they're never out of sorts. What the Celtics try to do on offense is get the ball moving side to side, especially when they run any of their plays or any of their 5-out actions. The normal action would be screen away, but Tatum's taken out of it because of this deny or top lock defense by the 76ers. So now they have to force a pass over the top, and Embiid's in help position, so when Tatum attacks, he's there to wall up and not allow an easy scoring opportunity. A big thing that I was impressed with was Tybal and his defense on Tatum. Now, it wasn't, obviously he didn't limit him that much, but he did a great job. As we can see, all 5 players here, 4 players in perimeter denying and 1 player zoned up in the middle because Cantor has the ball. So this allows Embiid just to hang off and wait. So now when players come to him, he's ready for that defense. Now, what the Celtics really try to do is allow Tice to shoot threes. He's shooting 35% above the break threes, but in this game, he actually only hit 1 out of 4. So the 76ers are going to live with the pick and pop 3. They're going to live with contested pull-up jumpers. They're going to live with any of these scoring opportunities because it's better than the alternative, which is the Celtics motion or the Celtics offense getting going. The big thing that the Celtics were doing is they were forced to throw it over the top. And so they were forced to throw it over the top. You can see Tatum was an ISO there. Tatum's an ISO here, and he's going to be forced into a tough kind of step back pull up late in the shot clock. really unorthodox offense from the Celtics, and it forced them to kind of get creative and figure out ways to beat this. One of the things the 76ers did really well was, even though that the Celtics won the game, they were forcing the Celtics out of their main actions and out of their normal flow. So it basically stagnated their offense, which is what any good defensive system does. Here we can see an example of them taking away the Celtics wide action that they love to run all the time in transition. Now, the basic premise of this is to set a quick pin down in transition. I talked about this in the playoff preview specifically for the Bucks and the Celtics. Here you can see examples of them doing this in the regular season for Kemba and players to come off downhill. But essentially in transition, they'll try to set this quick pin down and catch teams off guard and off balance. As we can see, when they don't get taken away, they can just rise into catch and shoot opportunities. The other set that the Celtics were taken out of is an after timeout special that they ran earlier in the bubble, and we'll go back and look at this. It is designed for a lob. In this scenario, it would be for Jaylen Brown, but the 76ers, their top block defense here, as this stagger screen set, we can see them denying Jason Tatum, which deflects him into the paint. Embiid is sagged off, and Tatum might be open here, but Embiid sagged off so much that he's taking away that pass opportunity. Now Tatum would then set a back screen here for Jaylen Brown. Play wasn't greatly executed anyways, but this top lock, drop and lock concept took them completely out of what they were trying to do. Here's an example of them running it successfully against the Nets for a dunk, and the original play that is from the Rockets, who've been running this play since basically 2017. Now, a couple of different things the Celtics try to do is basically cut off of the top lock into space. You can see Gordon Hayward does a good job here. Instead of using this wide screen, he actually kind of rejects it into the lane. Harris gets caught on the high side, and that allows Hayward an easy catch and shoot opportunity from mid-range. Another thing they did was just eliminate some of this motion and just ran ball screens with Al Horford and ball screen defense. Jaylen Brown got a nice short roll pick and pop. They also ran this for Gordon Hayward when Horford was on him. They ran this kind of ram ball screen action, and then Tatum went one-on-one. And then after this, Hayward ended up being wide open on this action as they get 2 on the ball. So Kemba comes off it. We get a pick and pop opportunity. So they said, screw the motion. Let's just run some ball screen stuff and try to take advantage of who's open. The next ball screen they ran was for Jason Tatum on this flat action. I think he called his horns flat. Wanamaker hits a nice floater in the lane. And the reason that works so well is because they're denying all these off-ball shooters. So when you're denying, you're not allowed in help position. Now, the last option that I want to look at is this seal concept. The seal concept that Daniel Tice and a couple other bigs, but mainly Tice and the Celtics utilize extremely well. When the players are coming off, as we can see here, Richardson and Harris are both on the ball in that ball screen. So Richardson's caught in no man land. Gordon Hayward comes off this ball screen from Tice. Embiid's caught between 2, so now he's stuck on the high side. Tice is going to screen, or basically seal him on the high side after the screen, and allows Hayward to get an easy layup. This is action that they did in the first half as well in the second quarter with Tatum getting downhill. Tice just seals his man on the high side. It's something that they did in the regular season against the 76ers. When teams are playing this drop ball screen coverage, Tice is able to roll down the rim as the players dribble hold and hold their defender on the high side, seal him off for Tice. At the end of the game, with up 3 and needing a bucket, the Celtics got the 76ers in a switch. We got Richardson on Tatum now, getting Tybalt off him. Tatum does a great job of ripping through here and attacking the lead leg, ends up driving downhill and getting fouled, and that basically sealed the game. I'll be interested to see the adjustments that both teams make next time. Thank you for watching. I look forward to doing more.